Welcome and thank you for being on time. Although the topic of the meeting was 5 simple ideas for kids to eat healthy. While I was making them, I was just having so much fun that I came up with 7 simple ideas for kids to eat healthy. Bonus for everyone. First, what I wanted to do is actually, I wanted to take a poll and understand how many of you have children who are below 6 years, 6 to 12 years, and 12 to 18 years. So you should see a poll on this very fancy meeting software that we have. So if you could just vote, because that'll give me a good idea of what kind of parents I'm talking to. Even if you're a granddad, you can say how old are your grandchildren roughly. I wanted to know whether they are preteens or they are under 6 or 6 to 12. So perfect. We have many people. I guess 12 to 18-year-olds are the fussiest of them all. And that seems to be 52% of the audience here have 12 to 18-year-olds. And 31% have 6 to 12-year-olds and 15% have below 6 years. So that's perfect. You probably hear because you want your kids to be healthy, or your kids are fussy eaters, or maybe they run anything vegetably in quotes, or you fear your kids may be addicted to junk, or you run out of ideas in the kitchen for them. So let's take another very quick poll to understand exactly why you are here. And if you could just give 1 for because you want them to be healthy, 2 for fussy, 3 for vegetably, 4 for junk, and 5 for ideas. That would help me out quite a bit as well and help me make the whole meeting more customized towards all of you who are attending today. And if there are any other reasons, you can just put them in the chat box. Great. So we have, most people are saying that they are because they want their children to be healthier. That's perfect. And some of you are saying that it's because the ideas, you run out of ideas. And very few are saying junk, vegetably, and the last is fussy. So that's great. They do run away from vegetables. Isn't that the truth? Okay. So let's see how I can help you today with addressing some of these concerns. So what you will learn today in this presentation is 5 worst and best foods a doctor recommends. The psychology or 101 to outsmart your kids. Let's see if we can even do that. Ideas of food presentation, some tiffin ideas, and the most important ingredient, which I will reveal at the end. Okay, I will put on my, somebody has complained that my voice is going in and out. So I'm going to wear my headphones and tell me if it's better now with the headphones. Okay, and I'm going to keep going. So before I start my story, and my story is this, that I used to be very overweight and I had hypertension. So it was not a good situation at all. On Sunday, I did a whole webinar on hypertension, and some of you attended that. So you heard my story around that. And then I discovered a healthier way to eat and a healthier lifestyle. And I just, well, why don't you just, some of you are saying that it's low now. So shall I take my headphone off? Better. So I was, of course, extremely unhealthy, and I was also eating unhealthy, but I didn't know that. I was actually not a junk food eater. Good food was something like sushi for me, as you see on the left-hand picture, and healthy food was, I thought that this was healthy. I thought if something wasn't drowned in oil, and if there was no dairy, if there was no junk food and sugar and so on, it was healthy. So I was, of course, mistaken. And then a series of circumstances led me to discover what really was a healthy lifestyle. And when I did that, I was able to create a personal transformation. And it wasn't just the food, it was also a number of practices. And I do teach them as a health coach as well. And this is why I am so motivated to share the message of health with everyone. So the 5 most dangerous things to feed your child, according to Dr. Joel Fuhrman, who's an MD, and who has written a fantastic book that I will also introduce you to, says that butter and cheese, because they are saturated fat and fat-delivered chemical pollutants. Number 2, potato chips and French fries. Isn't that awful? Because that's very often all that our kids want to eat, because it is drowned in trans fat, salt, carcinogenic acrylamides, which are released when oils are heated at high temperatures. Number 3, donuts, cakes, cookies, and I think in the Indian scenario, mithais. The brackets are mine, not Dr. Fuhrman's. Also because of the same reason, trans fat, sugar, artificial chemicals. Most of the street food and much of the mithais and all are fried in vanaspati. So don't be fooled that they are using ghee or anything like that. It's all drowned in vanaspati. Number 4, sausages, hot dogs, preserved meats, and so on, because they have something called nitroso compounds that are carcinogens. And the number 5 most dangerous thing to feed your child is smoked or barbecued meats, which cause stomach cancer and high BP. So if you had to stop giving some foods, it would be these 5. In terms of the Fab 5, the top 5 that Dr. Fuhrman recommends that you do feed your kids, it's berries, and in the Indian context, all dark-colored fruits. We have berries like rasbhari in North India. We get that, jamuns. There are leafy green vegetables. We have so many kinds of sags. So all the leafy green vegetables are highly recommended by Dr. Fuhrman. Seeds, all kinds of seeds, flax seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, melon seeds, he says, are extremely good for kids. Beans and pulses, all kinds of dals, chole, rajma, and so on are highly recommended as well, and tomatoes. So that's according to Dr. Joel Fuhrman in this book that I highly recommend if you want to learn more about how to disease-proof your child and raise their immunity. The whole book is about how children are getting more and more asthma, more ear infections, more allergies these days. And by changing the way that you eat, you can reduce all of these. And in the future, because childhood really is the foundation or the building blocks of your child's health and immunity. So if children have this building block in place, then in future, their risk of all the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, blood pressure, and cancer are much lower. So do get on to his website and get on to this book, and you will learn some amazing insights and very, very valuable information about how you can keep your kids healthy. So the 7 ideas, ta-da! The reveal. Make the food attractive and fun. And of course, I will go in detail through each one of these. Second, hide it, mix it, trick 'em. Number 3, healthy versions of old favorites. Number 4, create new yummies. Number 5, involve kids in food preparation. Number 6, availability and reverse psychology. And number 7 is something I will reveal later. So number 1, make the food attractive and fun and appeal to the left and right brain. So a little bit of psychology. We are adults after all, so we can learn a couple of things and be smarter than our kids. So if you know the concept of left brain and right brain, left brain is all the logical abilities and response to words. Let that be the main takeaway for the purpose of this presentation. And the right brain is all the emotional, intuitive, creative abilities, artistic abilities, and response to visuals. So how about we attract them with fun names, so words, and colorful visuals? Let me give you some examples that I have taken off the internet, and some of them are my photographs. And they're just to give you an introduction to what can be done to make food exciting for kids, because a lot of times it's a lack of ideas and nothing more than that. So the left brain, some of the words, giving cool names. Double vegetable consumption in an elementary school study. And this is from a research. And I will tell you a little later a source of some of this research. So for example, instead of saying, carrot salad, how about X-ray vision salad? How instead of saying instead of saying broccoli, you say power punch broccoli. Instead of steamed beans, you say silly dilly green beans. So you make it fun. Call broccoli and cauliflower tiny tasty treetops. And this research that I'm quoting shows that as soon as you did that, the consumption of vegetables went up by 100% and even more, in some cases by 180%. And these were not some crafted, researched words that a bunch of copywriters came up with. This was just pulled out of the air with a bunch of people just, talking about how to make these vegetables sound more exciting. So this brings a lot of interest in children. Right brain ideas or visuals. So shapes, apparently, according to this research, perform better when you cut things into slices, sticks, and stars. Stars is the favorite one out of the simple shapes, where children love vegetables and fruits cut up as stars, or even make favorite toon characters out of them. And I'll show you a couple of examples. Fun, creative presentation visually. So think cake top decorations applied to vegetables. That sounds like an idea. And a lot of vibrant colors. Colors are very attractive, not only for children, even for adults. I love my wallpaper right there, which is a little blurred out for you, and I hope that you can see, which is full of colorful vegetables and fruits, because nature is just so abundant. So here's the first idea. So do you know what you're looking at? A banana. And it looks like a dolphin. So how about presenting a banana like this? Won't it be fun? And how about making a rocket out of fruits? Let's make this presentation a little interactive, so you can tell me if you're liking these. How about making a bicycle out of these citrus fruits and topping it with some grapes? Another idea is making these little cars with strawberries and bananas. Thank you. I'm glad somebody likes this. Oh God, this one's really creepy. Can you guess what all is there? What are the ingredients? Maybe some kids would love to eat this. So green apples, strawberries, some sunflower seeds, and choco chips, and so on. This is from my cookbook, Guilt-Free Vegan Cookbook, although this is in a very designer kind of glass because it's for the purpose of photographing for the book. But think about layering in a glass, and you can even add some muesli at the bottom and top to make it crunchy, and just put different layers of fruit. We shot our book during the summer season, so we didn't have a lot of berries and stuff available. But imagine if some red here and some blue here and some purple here, it would be pretty awesome. One of my favorites is popsicles. And in fact, we just made some lime and mango popsicles today, and we are waiting for them to freeze so we can eat them. So you can have cut up fruit, or you can just puree the fruit, as you see in the picture on the right-hand top. And I love the idea at the bottom where even if you don't have the molds, you can just put it in a glass and freeze it with a stick and then pull it out. Now, in this photo at the right bottom, you could use coconut water as the freezing agent, or you could just use simple orange juice. I know, they look so cool, don't they? Then salads. How about presenting salads in interesting ways so that kids can be attracted to these? I think anybody would love to eat this if it's on their plate. A veggie train. I love this. It's super cool and super easy. So cut up these peppers into halves, and what you can do is stuff some dip into the peppers, and then stand your cut up vegetables right in that. So dip ideas could be hummus, it could be cashew cheese, it could be peanut butter, it could be anything that your kid likes. Yeah, it's a great idea for parties. In fact, I'm about to show you what I did for my niece's party, and here it is. These are my niece's best girlfriends, and I made this veggie skeleton with the hummus head, and because I was just so desperate to have something healthy for these kids, and everybody discouraged me and said nobody would eat vegetables, and these kids were fascinated. If you look at the first girl in the foreground, she couldn't get her hands off it, and she started munching on some salad even while everyone was looking at it. And by the way, it was all gone, and we named him Veggie Skelly with Weirdo Hairdo. This is the name I came up with my niece, and it was fantastic to see that the kids can actually enjoy vegetables. And one of my niece's friends, all she could talk about was this Veggie Skelly to her mother, and her mother told me that, so that was fun. Now, idea number two, hide it, mix it, trick him. Hey, you don't have to be honest, you can trick him if that's what will get them to eat more vegetables. So let's see how you can put on your thinking caps. This is simple. I'm sure a lot of mothers are already doing it, making some green chapatis with any kinds of greens like spinach and so on. Or you could grate in some beetroot and make pink chapatis, or you could grate in some pumpkin. You could do the same thing with dosas. You could do the same thing with idlis. This I found particularly cute, making the uttapam and, making it just in two shapes and making it appear like a bird. I thought it was very cute with some grated vegetables on top. I had so much fun making this presentation, you guys. Okay, and these are veggie sticks. And in the research that I was quoting, they also found that if you serve vegetables with something that the kid likes, for example, peanut butter or cashew cheese, whatever they like, they can they tend to polish up more vegetables if you give it with. So if you have to drown the vegetables in peanut butter, go ahead and do that, because peanut butter, if you're making it at home and it's free of preservatives and too much sugar and salt, it's actually pretty healthy. And if you want to know how to make it, you just roast and grind it. It's really that simple. Okay, the picture doesn't look great, but I promise you guys that this pasta sauce was amazing. I just didn't have my good camera at hand, and the light wasn't good, but I wanted to shoot this, and this is up there on my blog, on my website, where my blog is under the recipes section. This is a pasta sauce I made with pumpkin and sun-dried tomatoes, and I put it on a lot of noodles, and my niece loved it. She's pretty brutal. As you know, guys these kids are pretty brutal. So she will not lie to me if she doesn't like it. And she actually liked this one. She was skeptical to try it, but once she did, she said, it's not so bad. So that's a great compliment coming from a 9-year-old, and I'm pretty sure all of you know that. This was apple sandwiches. I thought this was pretty cool. Also, I think it's got peanut butter in it, and putting some granola on top. And this is a nice way to have some red and green apple sandwiches. And I just wanted to tell you that Dr. Spock, who's so famous for his book on children and how to bring up children and diet and so on, very close to the end of his life, his final advice was really to eat only all your vegetables. So it says here that Dr. Spock, arguably the most influential pediatrician of all times, has left children and parents with a surprising legacy, advising that they stick to a vegetarian diet devoid of all dairy products. So it means essentially a vegan diet after the age of 2, which means once they are weaned. And this was an article that I found in the New York Times from 1998. So this advice that milk is not good for you is not new. It has been around for a long, long time. So when I went on a whole plant-based diet. My niece, who actually, when she was born, she never liked cow's milk. She was only on her mother's milk for 2 years. And after that, my sister forced her to go on cow's milk. We didn't know about veganism and the harms of dairy at that time. And then she got a little addicted to cow's milk. And then around when she was 4 years old, I discovered this whole plant-based and how bad dairy can be for you. So we tried to get her off it. And you know, cow's milk is addictive. It has casomorphine, which is there in the milk naturally to keep the calf close to the mother cow, to keep the baby calf for whom the milk is addicted to the milk and keep close to mother cow. But milk is linked to childhood diabetes, increased risk of cancer, asthma, infections, and allergies. You can read all about this in Dr. Furman's book. So we tried to get her off it. And what I did was we gave her cashew milk. We just soaked cashews, blended them, and then we sieved them so she won't get the little bits in her mouth. She had it a few times, but because it's not addictive, she got out of the habit of having milk. So that's how we weaned her off from cow's milk. So I know before you ask me, let me tell you all the calcium sources that are plant-based. Sesame seeds have a huge amount of calcium, 10 times more than milk. Almonds have calcium, tempeh has calcium, butternut squash has calcium, so on and so forth. Broccoli has calcium, all the greens have calcium, oranges have calcium. So don't worry about calcium. If you do go on a whole plant-based diet, then you have to think only about vitamin D and B12, checking it, making sure that it is adequate, and if it's not, giving the simple supplements that exist for it. Because putting milk into a child's body just for calcium is not a very good idea, because it comes loaded with a lot of other things, like obviously dietary cholesterol, which we don't need, saturated fat. But apart from that, all the animal hormones, all the animal protein, which plays havoc with our biochemistry, not to mention all the oxytocin being injected to cows to make milk production go up, and so on and so forth. And once again, if you're interested more in this subject, then I do invite you to explore it. Dr. Furman is one, and then I will be sharing with you the name of another doctor. And in India, my mentor, Dr. Nandita Shah, runs an amazing organization called Sharan, and they do this work and do a lot of awareness seminars and retreats on this subject. So you can go ahead and explore Sharan India as well. Okay, moving on. Healthy versions of old favorites. This is the third idea. Just create healthier versions of what children already like. So use your imagination, and here are some ideas to spark your imagination. Pizza. In fact, we had it this afternoon. Making pizza out of, this one is made out of gluten-free atta. I think it was jawar or sorghum that was used as the base, but you can use whole wheat as well. Make the onion and tomato sauce the regular way. Put some greens on this. We see some spinach, some broccoli. You can put some pumpkin. You can put peppers. You can put whatever you like. And here we are using cashew cheese, which is simply soaked and blended cashews mixed with some garlic, lime juice, and salt. And if you want to ferment it to get it a little bit of that off taste, you could allow it to just sit for a few hours before you mix in the lime juice and the garlic and the herbs and salt. So that's cheese for you. You could make sandwiches, just blending some greens and mixing them with some potatoes in this case and some flavor, and giving a nice hearty sandwich. This could even be in the tiffins, in the lunch boxes for the kids. This is an ice cream made out of bananas, topped up with some pistachios. So once again, you just chop up the bananas, you freeze them, and then you blend them. The recipe is there on my blog. And right next to it is a brownie made out of dates and nuts. Somebody has written in the chat box, black bean brownies. You can put, so that's great, yes. And yes, you can put anything into a smoothie. This is an ice cream, a banana split. This is also from our book. So basically, fruit-based ice creams are very easy. And this chocolate sauce is made simply from dates, which have been ground with a little water, and cocoa powder. And honestly, I have fooled so many kids with this. They have no idea that this is not the bad chocolate sauce that they're used to having. Yes, please do keep sharing your ideas. The fourth idea is creating new yummies. So be brave, go where few moms have gone before. Go ahead and create some new yummies. This is my niece. She was my consultant for this presentation. In fact, she went through the whole thing this afternoon. Here she is drinking a green smoothie. It may sound yucky, but it tastes yummy as she's licking her lips and showing you. How about calling it Popeye's Secret Fitness Drink? And this recipe is there on my blog, so you can go ahead and look at that. Now, this is something that's quite popular in our home. We do our own do-it-yourself lettuce wrap. So we just have this whole buffet of toppings and the lettuce. And what's missing in this photo, maybe it was on the side, is peanut butter or a cashew cheese kind of dressing. And we just roll them up and eat them, and we just love eating these. Everybody makes their own, so it's like having a salad bar right on your own table. Number 5th, the idea: involve kids in food preparation. Honestly, it's the best education you can give your kids. If you can teach them how to prepare their food, even with some elementary cooking, they will not have to be dependent on anybody. And I think this is a great gift from a parent, to learn how to cook or how to prepare. So this is just an idea of a party where everyone's cooking and eating together. And as you know, when we cook together, the food tastes so much better. Even just involving children in some chopping, or if they are too young to hold knives, let them just arrange the salad in the plate or make their own shapes and so on, or even tell you how to cut it. So just get them engaged. The more engaged they are, the better it is. In India, we have this terrible habit of just relegating everything to the maids, and a lot of times even the mothers are not going into the kitchen. So even if you're working, and I understand that you may not have a lot of time, still I encourage to do some cooking, food preparation activity at least once a week. It can just be making popsicles after you come home from office. It only takes 10 minutes. The number 6th idea: availability and reverse psychology. So what this means is that have food, healthy food available. So what that means is that even this research that I was quoting, researchers saw that even in a birthday party, if they just put a lot of fruit next to the cakes and all the other treats, just because food was available, children would reach for it and they would eat it. So that's news, because fruit is actually very attractive and most children like it until their taste buds are just so corrupted with all the excess salt, sugar, fat that they get from junk food. So in your home, you could have a nice chopped up bowl of lovely fruit. Mangoes are in season in India right now, or anything that your kid likes, right at their eye level in the fridge, or have them in a nice fruit basket right on the dining table. When they see it, they will eat it. And there is research to back this up. The second idea here is reverse psychology, and I try this so often, not just with kids, I try it with the adults as well, because there are plenty of adults who still haven't grown up. So what I say is, I eat it and I make these sounds, and ah, and they look at me like quizzically, because they know that I eat whole plant based, and I said, no, you won't really like it, but it's really tasty for me. And that really pikes their curiosity, and they say, oh, give me a little bit. And I said, no, I take my plate away. So it's just a little game that you can play with your kids, and to get them to taste something that you really want them to taste. And please never, ever, ever say that it's healthy. Never do that. Not to kids and not to adults who don't want to eat healthy. Never say it's oil-free. Never say it's vegan. Never say it's healthy. Just make it delicious, make it look good, make it attractive, present it nicely, and that's it, job done. Let them eat it because it's delicious, not because it's healthy. So Let's hope that we can outsmart them. Maybe. I know kids are hard nut to crack. So this is something that my niece told me. There is a show on television. It's on Disney Junior, and you can even find it on YouTube. It's called The Bite-Sized Adventures of Sam Sandwich. And the hero is Sam Sandwich, who you see in the foreground, along with his friend, the broccoli head called Salad Lad. And they fight the villains of Salty Pup, which is excess salt, Fry Bog, everything that is fried, Sweet Tooth, all the sugary stuff, and Big Cheese. These are the villains. So it's really fun. My niece loves watching it, and she kept telling me, just tell the parents to show it to the kids. Just tell the kids, just watch it. Tell them not to tell the kids to eat healthy and all that. Just tell them to watch this serial, these episodes. They're very short. They are 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So, this is a tip from my niece, and I offer it to you. And I just love the name, The Bite-Sized Adventures of Sam Sandwich. I actually saw quite a few of them this afternoon, and I approve of them. Then the most important factor, and I hope you are sitting down for this one. Really, without this ingredient, the rest of the ideas don't work at all. And again, this is backed by research. So are you ready? Do I hear a yes? Say yes, even though I can't hear you. Fabulous. It's you. Yes, it's you. The research says that you have to be a role model. Children do what you do, not what you say. So if they see that you come home and you open a bag of chips, or you order pizza because you have no time to cook for them, or you're not eating much of fruit, they are not going to. It doesn't matter how artistic you are and what you make for them on the plate. If you are not putting the same thing in your mouth that you want them to put in your mouth, it ain't going to happen. So please, let's all grow up and let's be big kids who eat healthy. So this would be, the biggest idea that I have to offer to you. You've got to be the role model. You've got to eat healthy, and that's how your kids will be interested in eating healthy as well. So this huge insight and all this research that I was quoting you came from one of my favorite books right now called How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. And it is already a New York Times bestseller. It was released not even a year ago. And he says that one of the most important predictors of children's fruit and vegetable consumption has been found to be parents' consumption. So if you want your kids to eat healthfully, it helps to be a healthy role model. I rest my case, and I can see that most of you agree. So that's wonderful. So recap the 7 ideas before we close, and we'll open for some questions as well. Make the food attractive and fun. Hide it, mix it, trick them. Healthy versions of old favorites. Create new yummies. Involve kids in food preparation. Availability and reverse psychology, and be a role model. So my next webinar is going to be next Wednesday at the same time, and it's called Break Up with Sugar. So that's again 8 to 8:45 p.m. And since you have signed up for this webinar, you will get an email. Just make sure that the emails that I sent you are moved into your primary folder if you don't want to miss them, because ever since Google introduced all these other folders, they tend to go in the bulk folders. So just be careful to look out for that. It's not over yet. This is the book that I have written, the Guilt-Free Vegan Cookbook. I showed you some of the recipes from this. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on. And now I am ready for questions. And I also actually, if you'll bear with me, I would like to show you a little video while you think of all the questions that you have for me. So go ahead and start typing your questions in there. Let's test this technology. and let's see what it can do for us. And yes, please go ahead and share your ideas as well so that everybody can see them. So I'm going to show you a very brief video, which I think you'll enjoy. So I hope you could see the video. Okay, so I'm just going to now answer the questions that have been asked. So somebody said that will the webinar be available? Yes, the webinar recording will be sent to everybody who had registered, and in fact we had around 200 registrations, so we will be sending the webinar recording to everyone. Somebody said that, okay, I would love, yeah, please go ahead and give me some feedback as well. Yes, the webinar recording will be there. So not only will the presentation be available, but the entire video will be available. So even if you had some issues with the with your connection, then you can view the whole video. And please do keep me posted. I would love to hear from you whether some of these ideas worked for you, what your kids said, whether you have come up with some of your own ideas. I would absolutely love to hear from you. My email is given right there. And of course, if you're already on my mailing list, then you already have it. How can we ensure a balanced diet for kids? Making sure that there is plenty of fruits and vegetables in their diet, that they're eating a lot of whole grains, they are eating a lot of pulses and beans, and keeping the junk food minimum to low. In my last webinar, I spoke about the whole concept of pleasure trap, and that is as applicable to children as it is to adults, because you see, sugar and salt and all the fried food is so addictive that once we put it into our mouth, it's very difficult to stop. So that's something that we have to be careful of. It's never like one piece of chocolate, and it's never one piece of, one chip or 5 chips or a bowl of chips. It's always the whole box. So the more healthy food you bring at home, the more you keep it at eye level, the more you eat it yourself, the more you step into the kitchen and get the children engaged and cook with them, the more the kids will start eating healthier. That would be my recommendation. Okay, so somebody says that even if my kids are old enough to become parents, I enjoyed this webinar and I've learned all this for the child in me. Absolutely awesome, Mayavi. Oh, that's you, Mayavi. That's great. Thank you so much. Um, what else? It's the 13 to 20-year-olds who are difficult. Very true. The 13 to 20-year-olds are extremely difficult, and you have to be even more imaginative with them. And I think you just have to go on eating healthy in front of them, make all their favorites like pizza and noodle and blah, blah, and just have a lot of that available. And, try to order in if you can afford that at all. So that's why it's so important for all of you parents who have children who are younger to inculcate these habits earlier, because the older they get, the harder it is to actually get them to do what you want them to do. My son is addicted to chocolate. We don't want to give him, but neighbors and friends pamper him. So any healthy options to replace chocolates? Absolutely. I made these awesome chocolate laddus the other day, and it was just nuts in the food processor with some dates, raisins, and this very awesome chocolate powder, pure chocolate powder, cacao powder or cocoa powder. And they turned out so good. Everybody in our house was eating them. In fact, there are lots of healthy recipes available online. All you have to do is Google healthy vegan chocolate brownie or something like that, whatever you're looking for. And all these amazing recipes will pop up. In my website, I also recommend certain websites that you can follow where there are a plethora of recipes available. There are also many wonderful people offering cooking classes. So please go ahead and attend them, because when you attend them, then there is a different experience which keeps you motivated to try these out in your kitchen. And a lot of the recipes in my book that you see on the screen are actually very, very easy to make. We have very simple recipes because both Mala, who's my co-author, and I are not the kinds who want to slave over the stove. So we have made very simple recipes. A lot of them don't even require any cooking. So they're raw, they're made in the food processor or the mixie, and that's about it. Sharon, who's a wonderful plant-based health coach who's tuning in from Colombia in the US, is giving a tip, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. Get the older kids in the kitchen for sure. Let them choose from some healthy recipes and take ownership, and it works good for her teens. And I'm sure it's also because Sharon is a great role model for her kids. And it's never too late. You can tell them that I have decided to go healthy. You're welcome to join me or not. I'm going to be making these things. And if you don't want to join me, I'm going to eat them anyway myself. They'll watch you for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. How long will they watch you? There will come a time where there will be nothing to eat except the healthy pizza you made or the healthy noodles you made or the healthy brownie that you made. So have them available in the fridge and, just get that going. So Sharon is posting some black bean brownie recipes. So go ahead and copy them so that you have those recipes with you. Okay, Samir is asking me, 5-year-old son eats okay, but very thin. What's wrong? Samir, I cannot say that because I don't know you. I don't know your son. What I would recommend is to do his tests and maybe get a plant-based doctor to do a consultation for you, or even I as a health coach do consultations, and you can find a plant-based doctor on sharan-india.org, and that again, this link is there on my website. You can go there and have a look. So one will have to look what is the problem, but it may be your perception that he's too thin, because our idea of how children should be has changed. If you recall, when we were little kids, and I know that I've gone over time by 3 minutes now, but I'm going to continue, and anybody who has something to go to is welcome to leave. I'll just make sure that I answer all the questions. So if you remember that when we were kids and our school photos were taken, we were all very thin. And today, if such children existed, they would be considered too thin. So as long as he's active and he's energetic and he's happy, there may be nothing wrong with him. He may be just, like healthy thin. But if he isn't, then definitely do consult a doctor, or you can consult me as a health coach, and we can have a look at what's happening. Meanwhile, you could give him some more nuts, which might help. And I know that there is my friend Loveleen Riyar, who's a naturopathic and a homeopathic doctor. If you have anything to add to help with Samir's question of his son is too thin, please go ahead and do that. And Sharon as well, and any other health coaches and doctors that may be listening. Okay, so I think that's all. So thank you very much for being here today. I'm just scrolling up to see if there are any other questions that I may have missed. I think I've covered them all. So thank you very much for joining me today, and have a great evening or morning, depending on wherever you are, or afternoon if you're in London. Yes, nuts can be added to smoothies. Somebody is saying that in the chat box. Thank you very much for joining. You will get I will put in some notes as well, and you will get the recording, and feel free to pass it along to your friends. Thank you.